everyone, welcome to my last vlog of me in America. Oh my god, so me and Sarah woke up in the car on this Monday, did some washing, went to some bookstores. Look at these book covers, they're so incredibly stunning. Are you kidding me? And these are American book covers, so you can't get them in Britain, but they've really stepped up their game. We went to a coffee shop and sorted out our bags and stuff ready for our flights. Here is one of my final time lapses of me in all my layers ready for flights. This was a trial run, so I was taking them off instead of putting them on this time. And a final car selfie when we returned the car, going through the airport. I slept in the airport that night and then flew to Boston via Seattle. So this is Mount Rainier, way back from, I took this photo on this flight, but we went to Mount Rainier National Park back in October last year. And just sitting in airports, lots of waiting around, but eventually I arrived at Boston. Here is a picture of me walking to my hostel, and then I went out to a restaurant by myself and did some reflections of the year in my little journal thing, and ate chicken parmesan. The next day I did absolutely nothing, and I was in Boston for 2 days, so the second day that I had there, I did the Freedom Trail, which I talked to you a little bit about later, but here are some of my favourite tourist photos from it. Boston is, some parts of it are very pretty and they're giving me San Francisco vibes. I really like it, it's nice. Okay, Boston update. I'm back where I started my day off, in Boston Commons, and today I walked the Freedom Trail, which takes you to 16 historically significant sites in Boston. It's cool to see the city, and I really like Boston. I don't know if it's just because I've been deprived of cities that actually have energy. Mum and Dad, you know this because you've visited America recently now, but a lot of American cities, the city centre is dead, there's no one walking around, and I think it's because people just drive. You drive to the shop that you need to go to, and there's not this culture of walking around the town. But Boston has a really good energy about it, which I'm really enjoying, and I got free tickets to go to the Institute for Contemporary Art tonight. So I'm just going to sit and read in this park for a bit, eat some food, and then I'll head off to that. My ticket is for 6 o'clock entry, so I'll have to be there by then. I got cold sat on my bench in the park, so I decided to go and check out the Boston Public Library, which was absolutely stunning. I want to study in Boston so that I can go and write my essays in that library. It was so beautiful. And then when I was on the plane yesterday, I was talking to this couple about their Boston recommendations, and they said that their daughter comes and runs along the Charles River Esplanade every morning, so I thought I'd come check it out. And there are a lot of runners, but I love any city that has a river going through it. Extra marks for Boston. The walk along the river was very pretty, and then I headed to the Institute for Contemporary Art, and they give out free tickets on Thursday evenings, so I applied for one Thursday morning and got one, and the coolest thing in it was this exhibit, which they only let like 7 people in at a time. So cool. It was quite a small room, and then it just has mirrors all around it, so it looks like it goes on forever, but it didn't. It was cool to be in. The lights all changing. And then there are some of my favourite things from the museum coming up. It was a lot smaller than I thought it would be, and I'm glad I didn't pay to go in and that I got those free tickets, but it was still worth going to. And then I walked home to my Airbnb and on the subway. Then the next day I was up bright and early to head to Connecticut to go and stay with one of my friends who lives in Connecticut. We got lunch and she showed me her high school, which was cool to see an American high school. It's like I'm living in High School Musical. And then we just like drove around her town for a bit to see some of her growing up places. And then they got a brand new puppy on the day that I arrived to stay with her, so we were welcoming the puppy to their home. They've decided to call it Ripley, and it was so cute. Look at his eyes. And then the next day we headed into New York with one of her friends as well on the train. So you will see some New York sights coming up. It's only like a 45-minute train ride from her house to city centre New York, so Times Square. We literally just tried to hit all of the major tourist spots in one day, and we honestly managed to fit pretty much everything in except maybe the Brooklyn Bridge. I would have liked to be a bit closer to, but we saw it from a ferry, so still got to see it. That was cool. So yeah, Times Square, and then we went to the Rockefeller Center and the World Trade Center and the 9/11 memorials, and it was cool. It was absolutely huge. It had a very good atmosphere and vibe. I really liked New York. I would live there if I could afford it, but because it's the most expensive city in America, probably not. But it was like cool architecture and old buildings mixed in with super tall skyscrapers and everything like that. So it was a good contrast from like all of the Southwest stuff, which was just like nature. This is like, there's hardly any nature. There might be a few trees if you go to a park. And then after the World Trade Center, we got the subway to Wall Street and the like Bronco sign. And then we got a free ferry out to Staten Island, where you get a bit of a view of the Statue of Liberty and obviously the skyline of New York. And it was a lovely day, super sunny, blue skies, blue water. It was very cool. I don't really get how people spend like 2 weeks on holiday in New York, because I think like 3 days there, and that would be enough for me.
What number are we looking for?
I think it would be this way, Leah. Okay.
And then spent that evening hanging out with Leah and her new dog. The next day we went to see her dad at the fire station that he works at. And then I got public transport to JFK Airport and I flew back to Scotland. And that was like Sunday night. My flight left at 10 p.m. and I landed at 10 a.m. Monday morning. So it all lines up with my vlog schedule if I was still doing vlogs that ended on Sundays. And that's all of America done. Left the country, back in Scotland. I will do a reflection vlog in the next few weeks. But that's it, 45 weeks, and I'm finished.